Madam District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, Sheriff Todd, Baxter. My name is Chris Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield. And I'm demanding to know how much you pay your fanatics and degenerates and extremists to descend on my life, character, and integrity. This is your appalling, nauseating concoction I'm holding in my hand. Sheriff Todd Baxter. Criminal contempt. That the defendant on the above dated approximately 1440 hours to knowingly enter or remain unlawfully enter upon the premises of 2041 Penfield Road, Penfield, New York, by walking through the parking lot after being told through certified mail and at the police that he's not allowed on the property. Is that right? You mean like my neighbors? Did you arrest my neighbors that walk through this parking lot every day just like I have 4,000 times? 200 people walked through this parking lot after the fireworks on June 30th at Harris Whalen Park. How many of those 200 people did you arrest? Penfield High School band students walked through this parking lot that day. How many Penfield High School band students did you arrest? Were you losing your mind screaming at the Penfield High School band students, Nayraj Shah? You, Todd Baxter, are going to concoct criminal contempt for me. I speak to your dad through this parking lot every day. It's ordinary. It's normal. I don't know that your lying hack the whole time is writing a warrant for my arrest. If I was a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee and I was going to write a warrant for someone's arrest, I would tell that person, I just wrote a warrant for your arrest based on this interview, this information. Your lying hack, Deputy Meyer, doesn't do any such thing. Here I am speaking to her for an hour, and everything I'm about to tell you and have told you previously, I say to her. You, Todd Baxter, told this guy on his tractor with his beard, this freak show, to get on his tractor and come by my residence here. No one owns this land. Sheriff Todd Baxter in your psychotic 1984. No one owns this land. Nayraj and Layla Kumar Shah in your psychotic 1984. So what you did, Todd Baxter, is you told this guy to get on his tractor and come by my residence because you knew I was going to come out of my house, which I did. I stood right here. I said, they don't own that land. I walked back in my house. I'm outside for 30 fucking seconds, Sheriff Todd Baxter. What crime did I commit being outside for 30 seconds? How is that criminal contempt? Steve Desmond works for this grass-cutting racket, Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care. And Steve Desmond, a private citizen, called your fanatics to my residence. How often in the operations of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office do you use a private citizen? I go to the now defunct PW Fitness in Penfield. I'm at the back of the gym. I'm on the bench press. I always know when the psychopath is at the gym. And if you go to the gym at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, you know exactly what I'm talking about because you see the gym psychopath. Every gym has the gym psychopath. And at the now defunct PW Fitness, the gym psychopath is Jermaine Benman. Because Jermaine Benman loses total control of himself when he uses the weights, and he's screaming when he uses the weights. Not just a grunt. If you go to Planet Fitness, you'll see a sign that says no grunting. Jermaine Benman screams when he uses the weights. I'm at the back of the gym. I'm on the bench press. I do 3 sets of 10. I finished the second set of 10. I'm about to do the third set of the 10. Up walks to me Jim's psychopath, Jermaine Benman. And he goes like this. He doesn't say anything. I'm not getting off the apparatus because Jim's psychopath, Jermaine Benman, tells me to get off it. I lean back to continue the exercise as I'm on the machine. Todd the fascist stooge. I'm on the machine. And Benman walks up to me, stands over me. As I'm leaning up like this, he punches down and my head snaps back. What I didn't do and should have done is jumped on top of Jermaine Benman and kicked the shit out of him. I should have gouged him in the eyes, choked him out, kicked him in the balls, stomped on his bald head. Because if it's a vicious fight at the gym, it's just another vicious fight at the gym. A witness calls the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and your fellow corrupt hack, Andrew Reale, arrives. And we go outside. So I'm sitting in your vehicle, Sheriff Todd Baxter. I'm in your vehicle, Sheriff Todd Baxter. What crime could I possibly commit sitting in your Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle, Sheriff Todd Baxter? How do I commit any crime when I'm in the back seat of your Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Andrew Reale is talking to Jermaine Benman in front of me because he's coaching Jermaine Benman what to say to me. And Andrew Reale walks over to the side of the vehicle with this violent thug, Jermaine Benman, and I do not know if he has a prior criminal record. I look over to my left like this, and Jermaine Benman says to me, I want to press charges against you. And that's how Andrew Reale concocts harassment second for me. If I'm guilty of harassment second, if any human being is guilty of harassment second, there is a victim. This ticket has my name on it, harassment second. So, Sheriff Todd Baxter, what is the name of the victim? If I'm guilty of harassment second, identify the victim to me, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Ask your corrupt hack, Andrew Reale, the name of the victim. Your entire existence at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office is because of taxpayer dollars. Every single employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office exists because of taxpayer dollars. That check that's either direct deposit or paper check or however it's done is because of the taxpayers of the state of New York. I'm using the instrument called the Freedom of Information Law to demand the salaries at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office and Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So when you receive this information on February 17th, 2020, mail or email a list of the salaries for every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office to my email, cchsdjul4@gmail, or my home address, 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield. What's not to understand about this demand in the Freedom of Information Law, Todd Baxter and Sandra Doorley? Freedom of Information Law. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. As my name, email, my signature, the date, February 17th, 2020. Every foil has his contact information. This includes Sheriff Baxter, the name and salary of Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Sonny Corleone. Do you recognize your employee, Sheriff Baxter? Do you recognize your fellow gangster, Sonny Corleone? The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. My signature, February 17, 2020. Why do you think you exist, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley? What does the law mean to you, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley? Comply with the law as I'm holding the law in my hand that compels you to send a list of the salaries to every single public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. This includes Monroe County Assistant District Attorney Elliot Spitzer. You recognize your public employee, Assistant District Attorney Elliot Spitzer, because he wears black socks when he's having sex with prostitutes. And Madam District Attorney, while you're complying with this Freedom of Information law, I'm very concerned about your behavior at 47 South Fitzhugh in Rochester, because here you are in your American Beauty scene going crazy, vacuuming the floor. So I don't know what you're doing here in your nightgown, vacuuming the floor in your American Beauty dinner table scene here, honey. What the hell are you doing? And I know, Madam District Attorney, that you're very upset with your husband, Lester Burnham. That's why you just walked into the house there. You got your arms in the doorway there, and you're scratching your nails on the side of the doorway, and you look really mad, sweetheart. So I know you're really angry at your husband, Lester Burnham. So perhaps you should see some therapy, some family counseling to resolve these issues that you have with your husband, Lester Burnham. Now, Freedom of Information law. Cost of surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter and affixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road to monitor if Christopher Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. Surveillance device. Todd, I will expand on the definition of a surveillance device so you, Todd, understand what I'm talking about. A surveillance device, Todd, is a surveillance device. And here it is. That's your camera right there. That's your camera, Sheriff Todd Baxter. You see that? What do you not understand about this fact? You expended taxpayer dollars to put that camera, also called a surveillance device, on this building at 2025 Penfield Road. I'm walking through the parking lot for the 4,000th time. I leave the sidewalk from Penfield Road. I continue to walk through the parking lot. I hear screaming from behind me, and Nayraj Shah's in his car, losing his mind. He's doing the full Travis Bickle in his car. I turn around, I walk up to him, I say, "What's the problem?" He's still losing his mind in his car. I walk back to my residence for the 4,000th time. Nayraj Shah goes to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and he files a ludicrous, concocted complaint about me walking through the parking lot. He's not doing this for anybody else. He's not doing it for my neighbors. It's only for me. So where's my 14th Amendment right to equal protection of laws? If I'm the only New Yorker in the state of New York with 17.9 million people, that you will arrest Sheriff Todd Baxter for walking through that parking lot. So after he's losing his mind, he goes to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And I continue my normal day. And I'm walking through the parking lot shortly thereafter, and there's Elliot Roth of this business, Consumer Insights, outside. And there you are, Elliot, looking at me with that idiot look on your face, looking like the Grim Reaper. You should have had a scythe in your hand that day. And you, Elliot, say to me, "You're going to be arrested." Now, Elliot, Why did you say to me, you're going to be arrested? Because you, Elliot, know that the Monroe County Sheriff's Office was there that day. And they put this surveillance device on this building. Isn't that right, Elliot? They put this surveillance device on this building. Freedom of Information Law. The cost of a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher attended Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia, February 3rd, 2019, with his canine dog, Lola. It's such a disgrace and abomination what you're doing, Todd Baxter. What is Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia? What is he doing there? Why is Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia? What's the purpose of him being there that day? Why is Ryan Fisher, your taxpayer-subsidized employee I don't know the salary for, in Atlanta, Georgia, Sheriff Todd Baxter? How much was the hotel? How much was the plane ticket? How much was the cost for the care and feeding of his dog, Lola? Freedom of Information Law. The cost of taxpayers for photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter to photograph 10 public employees underwater in a pool. What are you doing in Monroe County, Sheriff Todd Baxter? These are your employees underwater. Is this a private event, or did you use tax dollars from your budget, which I also don't know the total amount for, at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? These are your employees. What are you doing in Monroe County, Sheriff Todd Baxter? This is such a joke. And you want people to know about it because it was on your Facebook page. Cost to taxpayers. If Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter is expending taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits, fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. What is the environment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office as male and female employees interact with each other? The type of individual, the male, that decides to be in law enforcement is not the type of individual that decides he wants a career at Microsoft. It's a completely different mindset. The type of individual that decides he wants to be in law enforcement has a completely different mindset than someone that works, for example, a Fortune 500 company. And as such, I believe that those individuals display a lack of self-control and temperament. Because when you're walking around with your weapon holstered to you all day long, you think you can do anything you want. If you're working at Microsoft, you don't have your weapon alongside your waist all day long. You're not thinking you can do anything you want. So being a law enforcement officer changes your worldview and how you can behave or how you should behave. So, what's the answer to that question, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Have you used taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits? Is the answer yes or is the answer no? And if you refuse the answer, it's easy to make a conclusion as to what's going on at your Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I'm going to force you to disclose if you have settled employment-related discrimination lawsuits with taxpayer dollars. And that also goes for a certain district attorney. Isn't that right, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley? Isn't that right? Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley. The cost of taxpayers, Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits for failure to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So, you have a standard 40-hour work week at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And then there is money that's paid beyond the 40-hour work week. Freedom of information law. The cost of overtime or time and a half or however pay is beyond the base salary is calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. What do you pay your public employees beyond the 40-hour work week? And how is it done? How is it done? Sheriff Todd Baxter with taxpayer dollars. Cost of overtime or time and a half or however paid beyond the base salary is calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. What's the answer to that question, Sandra Doorley? Your employees dedicate time and resources to cases. And in such dedication, your employees work beyond the 40-hour work week. And then they are paid money beyond the base salary. So how do you do that at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, because your entire existence, because of tax dollars. If you have someone that you pay $60,000 a year to at the District Attorney's Office, and then that person is subsequently working beyond the 40-hour work week, 5 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, that person's going to earn more than the base salary. So how do you do that at the District Attorney's Office? What's the answer to that question, Sandra Doorley? And you will refuse to answer as you are above the law in Monroe County. District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Accountability is a joke to you. Names and charges of every inmate of Monroe County Jail from January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2018. The names charged. You, Todd Baxter, an 80-year-old Bob in your jail walking around 25-year-old gang members. Why isn't an elderly man that cannot defend himself from a gang member not segregated in a different part of your jail where he can be safe? Does this even occur to you? Do you even know what goes on at your Monroe County Jail, Sheriff Todd Baxter? I have to tell you what goes on at your jail as an innocent man deposited in your jail without ever hearing Miranda. You're going to refuse this too, Sandra Doorley. What's the name of the prosecutor in my case? She stood in Penfield Town Court before this pedophile protection racket for Daniel Glaus III and didn't talk. Didn't talk. Did not talk, Sandra Doorley. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the female prosecutor, District Attorney Sandra Doorley? What's her name? It's part of the public record. My appearance in Penfield Town Court as an innocent man is part of the public record. If I have to appear, as I did in Penfield Town Court, there will be a public record, and there is a public record. What's her name? Sandra Doorley. Did this woman come back to your office, Kyle Steinbach, since you're the chief of the local courts, right? And say, I had no argument. I didn't say anything. I didn't say one word. I didn't utter one sound. Not one syllable came out of my mouth. Did she come back and say that? And this Chris Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, the handcuffs went on him. He's on his knees in Penfield Town Court. That's right. I was on my knees. And he's taken to Monroe County Jail. What's her name? Kyle Steinbach. Where is your integrity and your decency and your character and your honor? Just tell me her name. I emailed you, Kyle. I asked you this question. What's her name? And you emailed me back saying, we don't discuss open cases. I had been home. My rights had been abridged. You, Kyle, don't even understand the English language. You can't even answer a simple question And you're presiding over cases at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to refuse again. What is the name of the female prosecutor in Penfield Town Court before John P. Lomenzo Jr., who doesn't talk? What are the physical training standards or requirements at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Do you, Sheriff Baxter, require your public employees to perform push-ups, sit-ups, a run? Do you have physical training standards at the Sheriff's Office? I already know the answer to that question. I was on your Facebook page, and it was laughable at the number of employees that were overweight, not just a few pounds. I looked at one guy, he had to be 40 pounds overweight. Where do you buy a uniform for this guy? I am not exaggerating. He was 40 plus pounds overweight. And there were other individuals on that Facebook page. We should have had a ceremony somewhere. That's why I saw them. That were 20 pounds overweight. One public employee after another. Overweight. And you, Todd, can lose weight too. I'd say about 10, 15 pounds. You're not as bad as some of the others. But what happens, Todd, if you have to run after a criminal? Because criminals like to run away from the cops, Todd, baby. Freedom of Information Law. The date Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter hired Monroe County Sheriff employee Michael Radler. Michael Radler was a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee for 20 years and then he retired. You, Michael Radler, were a private citizen. And then Sheriff Todd Baxter rehired you. And now you exist as an assistant or a special assistant at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So you, Michael Radler, are a double dipper. And I do not know if you are a legal or illegal employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I'm in the process of finding that out. And I'm going to tell you via registered mail return receipt, Michael Radler, where I'm going to copy everybody at the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office if you are a legal or illegal employee. I know you're thrilled about that, Michael Radler, because you want to be legal. You want to be a legal employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Isn't that right, Michael Radler? What do you do all day long as an assistant or a special assistant? So, Michael Radler, since you have two paychecks, you were a Monroe County Sheriff employee for 20 years and then you retired. So you had that paycheck in retirement. You're collecting your retirement paycheck. And then you're rehired by Sheriff Baxter and you got his second paycheck. You didn't go to the New York State local retirement system and say, I don't need my retirement paycheck. That is an assumption from me because it would be astounding if you went to the New York State local retirement system and said you didn't need your retirement paycheck. You want those two paychecks because it's all about the Benjamins, Michael, baby. So you, Michael Radler, are a double dipper. And what I want to know, Michael Radler, since you're a double dipper at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, I want to know, Michael Radler, if you were dating Ashley and Mary Kate Olsen, the Olsen twins, are you seeing the Olsen twins as a double dipper? Now, Michael Radler, what I want to know is, are you related to Rob and Rex Ryan, football coach twins? Now, Michael Radler, I want to know if you are related to Jenna and Barbara Bush, the Bush twins. Is there any relation there? Now, Michael Radler, I want to know if you are related to Epi Lederer or Pauline Phillips, otherwise known As Ann Landers and Dear Abby. I pronounce that like Archie Bunkerwood. 704 Housen Street. Story, Queens. Michael Rather, I want to know if you are related to Christina and Carissa Shannon. Here they are right here. Who are Christina and Carissa Shannon? Hugh Hefner's new girlfriends. So, are you related to these Playboy Playmate twins? As a double dipper, Michael Rather, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And I have your 2 paychecks right here, Michael Rather. Here's your 2 paychecks. You got your 1 paycheck for 20 years on your job at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office writing speeding tickets. And you got your 2nd paycheck here as a special assistant sitting next to Jimmy the intern. Ooh, a special assistant. I mean, your job responsibilities on a daily basis, Michael Rather, must be overwhelming. I mean, how do you handle it? So, now, does the name Daniel DeLouse III sound familiar to anybody at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office or the Monroe County District Attorney's Office? Daniel DeLouse III was observed by witnesses on Anacalluster, which is off of 5 Mile Line Road over here in Penfield, trying to entice children into his vehicle with candy. I have ridden my bike by that exact street, and it's a small street. When you ride by 5 Mile Line, you can look down there. There's only about 8 or 9 houses on there as far as I can tell. I may be wrong because I'm only riding my bike right by there. So here in Penfield, New York, where I ride my bike, Daniel DeLouse III is observed by witnesses trying to entice children with candy. He's trying to gain their favor in some way. And he's arrested by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office for this act because Daniel DeLouse III is a child rapist in Penfield. And he is brought before. Who do you think he's brought before? Who do you think he's brought before? John P. Lomenzo Jr. John P. Lomenzo Jr. has a relationship with Daniel DeLouse II. And he's not recusing himself from any case involving Daniel DeLouse III. So, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what is the name of your public employee or assistant district attorney who handled the case for Daniel DeLouse III? Because Daniel DeLouse III is released by Lomenzo, and then he's subsequently re-arrested because what does a child rapist like to do in Penfield, New York, or anywhere? A child rapist rapes children. So the guy I had to appear in front of is a child rapist protection racket for Daniel DeLouse III because he knows Daniel DeLouse II and he is 70 years old. Nobody has ever required an order of protection because of any of my behavior ever in my life. An order of protection is totally alien to how I lead my life. So, these disgusting parasites, Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah, go to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office where you're going to concoct this crime for me. And John P. Lomenzo Jr. writes an order of protection for me to sign, for me to stay away from Layla Kumar Shah, even though this sickening, pathetic excuse for a human being lives right over there, approximately 200 yards. So I'm in Penfield Town Court, and they're shaking me down to sign this order of protection, and I could face additional charges. So I signed an order of protection to avoid Layla Kumar Shah, who lives 200 yards away from me at 2041 Penfield Road, because I was worried about additional charges. And then John P. Lomenzo Jr. has another order of protection for me to avoid Jermaine Benman, who attacks me at the gym, and that I refuse to sign. What has happened to me should never happen to an innocent American ever. I have never committed a crime, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley and Sheriff Todd Baxter. And you, Sandra Doorley, had to form a conviction integrity unit in your Monroe County District Attorney's office to police your own incompetence. How is it that a district attorney has to form a separate bureaucracy to police herself? I have never heard Miranda, the 1966 Supreme Court decision. I go outside. I stand on Sandra's Run Drive where I live. I stand right here. I'm outside for 30 seconds. They don't know I'm landing, walk in my house. Steve Desmond, a private citizen, gets on his phone. They put the handcuffs on me and take me to Monroe County Jail. How come Sheriff Todd Baxter, I did not hear the Miranda rights as required by the United States Supreme Court in the 1966 case Miranda versus Arizona? I have never heard Miranda. And you can ask that bald-headed whack job in your Panorama Trail office that has me in handcuffs on my front lawn, why I have never heard Miranda. You can ask the 5 other whack jobs that are standing on my front lawn. My neighbor Adam was outside and he watched this happen to me. My neighbor across the street was outside and he watched this happen to me. And they both subsequently said all you did is go out. So this is my language, but this is what they communicated to me. All you did is go outside for 30 seconds. That's right. There was a video of me, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and you refused to send it to me. I've demanded over and over and over on email from my mail.com account. It has an assigned number. The video of me has an assigned number called an ICN number. That's what I was told. Does that video exist? It's your camera. It's your film or whatever it is that produces the video image. I have these emails from my mail.com account sent to Michael Rabbit, Captain Miller, WTO, and SL Birdie, telling you to send me that video. It was on the phone of your public employee at your Panorama Trail office. And what is he paid? I don't know, because he refused to send me the public employee payroll. They're at Wegmans all the time. Here's your vehicle. There's the Wegmans Food Market sign right there. I'm walking over there. Here she comes through the parking lot. I took out my phone. I took this picture. It is such a joke that you are constantly alongside this business. This is a private business. Why are your public employees in their Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicles alongside Wegmans Food Markets at 2157 Penfield Road? Why are you there, Sheriff Todd Baxter? What is the purpose of being at this private business? I have photograph after photograph of your vehicles alongside this building. Why are you at Wegmans Food Markets at 2157 Penfield Road? What is the purpose of being alongside that building, Sheriff Todd Baxter? The United States Attorney for the Western District of New York is James P. Kennedy Jr. I'm going to contact James P. Kennedy Jr. I'm going to tell him I didn't commit a crime. I'm going to tell him I didn't hear Miranda. I'm going to tell him the prosecutor didn't talk in court. I'm going to tell him I was delivered to Monroe County Jail as an innocent man. Send your public employee payroll with a list of salaries for the district attorney's office and sheriff's office to my email, cchichesterjul4, or my home address at 26 Sanders Farm Drive. And I hope you continue to refuse.